Hello and welcome, Cosmic Quantum Travelers. I hope you're all doing well. It's been quite a wild ride lately. I've been taking it easy, especially the last couple of days. I had my daughter staying with me as well, and I've been simultaneously working, as we always do. I mean, it's really work play, but I guess we need to find new words for it. As everything really is this. But yeah, it's all about multidimensional integration and trying to balance all of these pieces of ours, all of these aspects in the best way we can. And each day it looks a little bit different. So anyway, and as I shared previously, a big theme is relaxation, just to be able for us to really heal our nervous system right now, which is receiving massive upgrades along with our vagus nerve. I posted about this as well, along with a few tips last week. And yeah, so it's also connected to the planetary activations. And I think we can all feel it. The shift is on. And we're literally dimensionally shifting now. We have been obviously for a while, but now we have really, through this month of June, in quantum no time, we have been really completing a lot of the work that we have been working towards for eons of time. It's happening. This is it. It is done. And we keep on going and keep making it happen, because it's for us to always hold these frequencies, to always hold the embodiment and be that which we want to see in the world. Because it's also down to us, those that on a soul level have these, and really blueprint level, have these keys and codes that literally hold the planetary blueprint, that hold the Templar within their field. So some of us are just, it's just our job to be more conscious, to be the ones who are the forerunners or leading the way, because we're just older souls and we've been around the block a few times, and we literally have co-created all of this. So we can call ourselves the heroes, or we can call ourselves, this whole savior type is, on one level, yes, it's what, keeps making us do what we're doing and keeps pushing us forward. But we also obviously have to understand that ultimately this is a dream and we are imagining all of this. And this is really the key for us right now, because what I'm seeing is the matrix, the simulation is about to go offline any moment now, literally. The false realities, the false timelines, because that's all what we've been clearing. We've been clearing all the fallen timelines, their access, so the fallen timekeepers' access. We have taken back our conscious co-creation, which is really a shift in consciousness, ultimately, of us understanding that we have been co-creating all of this as one consciousness all along, just unconsciously. We have been asleep behind the steering wheel, and then we are easily manipulated through many different ways and tricks, mainly fear-induced. And fear makes people do stupid things, which we have seen and which we know. And yeah, I mean, everything is coming to its resolution, and this is really the cosmic reset is upon us, or rather it completes now, because that's what we've been working on. It's a full reset of the blueprint. It's a reset of the consciousness from distorted polarity to unity consciousness. If you don't like the words and if it triggers you, then we're reclaiming this. We re-reverse everything, because everything that there exists as a negative, we have a positive version of it, whether it's a reset or, whatever it may be. And I've done this all along over the last 2 years when I called my remote activations, ascension booster sessions. We reclaim all of this, okay? And it's the same with the sacred symbolism and our platonic solids and the tones and sounds of creation, okay? It's all a reclamation and a remembering of the original sacredness of all of these symbols, and the words that have been hijacked and all the narratives, okay? Because again, there's obviously a positive version of all of these things, and that's what we have to do. It's really shift the way we look at things, and then what we're looking at changes, because instead of just projecting negativity and more fear timelines onto the screen of our realities, which is a hologram that we project out from within us, the DNA is the film strip. And through the shifts in the DNA, so there have been massive DNA activations and upgrades, and they are bringing online a new timeline. And this is really what holds also our consciousness that is now reconnected to source, to the cosmic consciousness, the super intelligence field, and at one with the heart and mind of God, so the Godhead. And we're really activating and rebirthing our diamond avatar self right now, the forerunners. Okay, so we are holding the 0 point field within whatever is transpiring. That doesn't mean that there's nothing going on in our lives and we're just always zen, but it means that we keep holding the 0 point field while these polarities play out within and without in the realities that we are observing and part of. And we keep bringing in the 0 point field, which is what collapses these polarities, which is what the old realities are based upon, distorted polarity consciousness, which is also a bi-wave that runs in the grids. So it literally makes us all bipolar. And it's like, you know, good versus evil, and all of the gender divides and all of these major polarities that play out, it's all interconnected. So it's an energy current that we had running in our fields and in the grids, and that's now overridden through our amazing work, anchoring the oneness, anchoring the Holy Trinity, the Trinity codes, Holy Grail codes coming in very strongly, which is what I'm seeing is a chalice configuration or fountain configuration, which is also connected to our three dantians, the third eye, heart, and solar plexus sacral area. And the whole chakra system is all shifting and changing. So it's not how it has been before, but I see it more as different layers to it. So we still use these areas as, you know, we connect to, because we still all have these nadial points and these vortex points throughout our energy body. So anyway, so the chalice configuration and the Holy Grail configuration, I really see these three dantian points really connecting, unifying, coming together. And it's like, it's literally also connected to our eternal God source backflow return butterfly patterns that are running in our fields now, which is what returns eternal life source flows to us. And it really is very much connected to the high heart activation. So there's a lot happening with the heart, especially over the last few days. I could physically feel it. And so it's really healing and opening, and the high heart is really our cosmic seed atom as well. It's very much connected to the core of the earth, which is going through massive magnetic shifts, especially since the solstice, and then again since the last 666 date. And this is also shifting our heart and the way it functions. And I could really feel on Friday when I was in town and I was writing about this, how I was arriving in Dublin from the train, picking up my daughter, and it was really physical shift. So I was standing on a platform and just like my whole body got activated. And I also know there are a lot of grids there. There are diamond rose grids in Dublin as well that I work with whenever I travel. But it was a shift from the heart, that because I've also been running the crystal lotus flower configuration through my field, and really I feel it coming from my heart center. The sacred geometry that I've shared before, which is 12-dimensional, but can be expanded to 24, 48, and infinitely really so. And basically, so that's the crystal lotus flower. And I could really feel this just radiating out from my heart. So the shift that's really happening on the biggest level is that as our whole light body in all of our DNA and all of that is healing now. Okay, all of these distortions, reversals, lower codings, attachments, entities. Okay, and everybody's a slightly different stage, because again, some of us have done more of the work, but we're doing this also for the collective, because a lot of the souls that are not actively or consciously involved, in spirituality or doing energy work, they are picking up on this on the field, because we're all connected through soul groups and monadic groups, okay? And we are like a core monad. And it's really beyond the 100 monkey effect, because it's like, if the right people, which, right people as in the ones with the codes that have the responsibility, as in holding the higher consciousness, as they shift, it goes out into the field and everybody picks up on it through the 100 monkey effect, which is basically where, the consciousness, the collective consciousness works, where new habits, new behaviors are being picked up, new ways of thinking. Okay, and the old programming, it's all being shift-deleted right now. The whole past, with all the fallen timelines, it's all deleting. That's why you have a lot of mind wipe. That's why you can't remember certain things. It's literally, you can't remember the past because you're not supposed to, as in, we will remember what happened and is happening, but you don't have it constantly running on, what most of us are like. We're either stuck in the past and recreating these scenarios unconsciously now present again and again, or we are afraid of the future. And again, unconsciously most of the time co-creating then these unwanted scenarios through our unconscious fears, because mostly we so far have had 90% of how we create all of our thoughts and behaviors are driven by the unconscious. So that has been our work, making the unconscious conscious, unconscious conscious, so we can become super conscious. And now we are super conscious empaths. And instead of sucking up all the crap and being like humanity's Hoover Brigade, boots on the ground, which is not much fun overall, and then, getting attacked for it on top of it all. We all know the fun. Yeah, I don't need to get into this, especially lately. So instead of that, we are now no longer needing to protect in that way, those who are ready, okay, because that protection is necessary for a long time until you feel you've strengthened your field enough and cleared all that crap out, which is ultimately all negative thought forms and traumas, all that unprocessed stuff that we need to bring up and heal. That's what we do the inner work for. That's why we need to look. That's why we need to bring it all up. And this is the end of suppression. This is the end of cognitive dissonance. This is done. The last veil is gone. And it's all being revealed now. We're in a slight reset point right now. And any moment now, the fun wheel begins. So I really feel this is all about to spectacularly go down the false matrix. How exactly it's going to look like, I don't know. What I can sense, there's a whole false sky and there's a whole organic sky beyond what we can see out there. And there's a whole lot of other stuff going on. And that's a whole funny thing, because ultimately it's all a stage. Okay, if you think certain things are this way and there's so many planets and this is there and this is that, it's all a lot more malleable than we may think. All right. Just right now, it's just let it all go. Let everything you think go. Just at least keep an open mind, because it's going anyway, whether you want to or not. And just connect to source and true consciousness, like ask to be shown. That's what I'm doing right now. There's a lot coming in right now, but you need to make space and just be open to receive the answers instead of thinking you have it all figured out. Because we keep going deeper and deeper, and it's like layer and layer after truth, and you keep seeing deeper layers and like higher, truths and expansion of consciousness. Okay, this is what this is all about. It doesn't get stuck. It's not just one thing, that one truth, and that's it. Yes, there are certain core truths, of course, but literally everything we've been told has been so distorted on all levels, in the spiritual community as well, especially there. And especially now, there's some thing going on about be prepared for the last battle. I want to say that's just another programming, okay, where you then create this automatically. And ultimately, how I see this, the last battle is always fought within your own mind and heart. And that's really what's happening. Because this is a timeline war. It's a frequency war. It's a war over consciousness. It's really all the same thing. That's why this is about consciousness. That's what I'm focusing on. Okay. That's what it really comes down to, because as we shift back to our avatar diamond cosmic consciousness, which we are doing right now. The foreigners can feel it. We're here to hold the field within the chaos, and whatever goes on, doesn't matter what. It doesn't mean we're perfect, but it's a higher consciousness that is your full multidimensional self, all integrated and aware, and it's coming really powerfully online now. And that's when you always know what you need to know when you need to know it, and every now moment you are anchored in the present. You've gone timeless and limitless. You're no longer bound for the 3D illusions. You know you're the avatar walking in the game, that this is a game, but you're also very serious about the role you're playing, because you know that you're living the game and you want to get to the next level, which is a lot more fun. And you're also the game creator. And there are extras in the game. They're part of it. And it's a co-creation. So it's not about controlling the other players in the game, not at all. Especially right now, I think many people can feel it's a whole letting go of anyone we've been trying to convince or help or assist or whatever, or been, holding space for and waiting for. It's not that we don't hold space, but it's just like, okay, we've said enough, now let them all have their experience. Because that's unconditional love. It's like your own children. You can't prevent them from getting hurt, the same as we needed to have our many, many breakdowns and deaths over and over and over again. That's the only way you learn, and that's you need to experience it yourself. Nobody can do it for you. And we don't want to do that, because that's also where, you get karmically entangled. And all these karmic contracts right now are all going, gone. Keep canceling them, be very aware of what's going on, because it's all, all these programs, it's all been shift deleted, and you're part of making that happen. Or let's say it's down to us how easy and quickly it goes. And whatever you're still judging or resisting, these are all parts of us that still want to be integrated. So celebrate the triggers, have gratitude, and understand that there are all other aspects of you where, again, you can see, they are not you, but they are another aspect of you in kind of a time-space continuum of source. And ultimately, there are no enemies, they're all teachers. So we need to get away from the paranoid anger, because there's been a lot of anger also been clearing. And I mean, I've been doing this for years. So it's, it has to be purged the best way we can until there's no more anger and just really understanding. Although obviously, if people keep stepping over our boundaries and not respecting ourselves, whatever may be playing out, it's natural to be angry. So just fully respect that, fully, you need to really honor your own feelings and your own experience above anything else. So don't tell yourself you shouldn't be angry, just go beyond it, okay? Because we want to understand what is now happening is really, everything is culminating, all of our lifetimes, all of our experiences, all of our life lessons, until we finally got it. And we keep remembering that this is not real. And it's whenever we identify with our emotions or our, self and have to defend, that's when we go back into the ego, which doesn't mean that we don't put a foot down and we don't, stand in our truth, have our boundaries and discernment, but we don't need to do it from a place of defending and fighting anything. We do it from a higher perspective where we're always at one with our God source consciousness self, or our fractal expression of that. Okay, because we're really unifying, and what's properly birthing now, we're really the butterflies ready to open our wings and properly shine, is the new divine cosmic human. So it's a unified holy trinity of, your masculine, feminine, inner child, but as one with source, consciousness, but you're also human in form. So again, this is not about perfection, whatever that may be for anyone, or whatever anyone may understand under this. So it's about having your own standards. It's also important to have standards, but again, hypocrisy or the integrity part is the key. we need to be able to stand in integrity with our own word. So when our words and our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions are aligned, that's alignment, okay? So we have all been projecting to certain different levels. That's where humility comes in, that where you can tell people what's off, but then you also keep going within where you might still be, you know, when you get triggered or angry or whatever, where you still want to release something or go a little bit deeper within as well, to release this further and to integrate that aspect within you a little bit more and bring it more to peace, because that's really all the incongruent thoughts, all the conflicts, it's all releasing, resolving, it's coming up to a head to then completely collapse in the 0 point field. And that's what's happening now. And we are doing this with everything, okay? And if it's the judgments ultimately what are keeping us separate. That's the last, or that's the ultimate form of separation here, where we judge good, bad, right, wrong. And you really have to go beyond that, where yes, this is true on one level, but then you go beyond it in order to transcend it. So it's a both end. Okay, so it's like, yes, this helps, yes, this doesn't, but it doesn't come from the energy of judgment. It comes from the energy of discernment. So there's a difference. The same with blame and shame and guilt. These are very heavy, religiously induced energies, you know, through religious programming, very much supported. And even people who don't proclaim to be religious, they still have these programs running. That's the funny thing, because again, they're the basis of the psyche, of our behaviors, the morals and ethics. That's ultimately what we want to embody. We want to be a very, you know, strong, morally strong person with good ethics and be the change. And from there, you will see everything will align in the field. Okay. So again, where we're off, we need to be self-reflective, but then don't be like, oh, I'm a terrible person now. How could I? Or say this to another person. And also sometimes when you say something to other people and from a place of discernment and they overreact from their traumatized, you know, unhealed self, just know it for what it is, but don't be afraid to say something, because I know we've all been having a hard time, but this is part of our training to know it doesn't matter what goes on. Okay, we can no longer play the victim, just know what's going on, that these energies are being mass evicted, entities and demons and all of that shit. And if you have people in your life that they work through their unconscious, okay, just know it for what it is. It's nothing personal, ultimately. That's the whole thing. You need to take your ego out of it and come from the place of your higher self. What would, you know, your soul self do, your diamond avatar self do? You just know what's going on, because if you react and get constantly triggered, then you keep falling for the game. You keep forgetting that you're in the game because you keep taking it personally. And that's how you can't exit the game and get to the next level, where you're going to have a lot more fun with. It's a much more fun level where we are now going to be consciously co-creating together. And that's the whole thing. So, you know, we want to play the heroes, but then we've also been responsible for letting this shit show happen. And we are. But it's a co-creation. So there's no one at fault. And that's what we need to get over. Okay, we need to completely transcend any victim consciousness now. Everything is a co-creation. Everything. It can't be just one thing and not the other. Everything. It's been co-created. And ultimately, this is a dream. This is simulation. And we are about to fully awaken from it, because this is the artificial part that has been hijacked and induced. But ultimately, again, at the highest level, we are in charge. Otherwise, how would we get out of it if we hadn't co-created it as well? And how can it be any other way again? Because everything in our life is like this, no? So if we still have victim programming running and it goes deep within the human psyche, just know it for what it is when it pops up and transcend it. So every conflict is ultimately a co-creation, okay? Especially at higher level. All right, they're just different levels of consciousness of the people taking part. But as soon as someone is attached to their ego and their wounds and so forth, yeah, it gets, you know, not so fun anymore. That's when the, you know, negative conflict comes. For example, with my daughter, it's really fun because, you know, we're both clear. She doesn't so far really know what she's doing as such. She's 9 years old, but she kind of doesn't want to know of, you know, this kind of these things as yet. But we clear together in a really fun way where, you know, we let our out, but we don't take it personally. but there are also, you know, points where it's like, okay, enough now, sort of thing. But you know what I mean? Because ultimately we're all here to exorcise each other's demons. So if we know it for what it is, and we know from being that Hoover, being the one who now, I didn't finish that story, sorry. So what happened at the station was, instead of us sucking up all that energy, I could really feel my energy going outward and lifting up the whole place, the whole station, the main station, the end of it. Was beautiful. I could really feel, I was just also consciously working with the energy that was coming from me very physically. I could feel a big shift and activation happening within my field and in my body, as I said, and really just the energy radiating out. And that's what we're going to do now. So we're not going to be protecting anymore and hiding. And we needed that for our cocooning phase, because it's, well, we want to be very discerning with what and who we let into our energy field, because you do exchange energies, especially when you're in a closed space. You know, your auric fields meet and interact. So again, doesn't matter what is even being said, there's something happening energetically anyway. And then also, as space is, you know, also part of the illusion, such as time, and the gravity has also been manipulated, which is all shifting. Even when you are not speaking to someone, you know, we all know telepathic connections, they're becoming ever more stronger, because that's the real communication. That's the true communication. A lot was what goes on between words. Often so much of what we've seen is people say one thing and they mean a whole other thing. That's the whole falseness, and that's all going. It's just not sticking anymore. We have a whole guidance system up and running. It's not just our third eye that's opening wide, our heart, and it's our higher heart mind complex, but also our gut. It's our whole, you know, system, as empaths know, you know, and you know, for example, I'm clairsentient, so I feel a lot of things anyway, but it's really our superpower. So from when we grew up and heard that, you know, being sensitive is basically a disability, and often we felt like this, especially in busy places, now it's becoming our superpower. Because once you know how to work your energy field, and your energy field is healed, what's happening now, also through these activations, we have a golden egg now around us. More and more people are picking up on it. Again, thank you so much for everybody who's taken part in the activations. We've really rocked. I mean, I've shared most of this all in writing of all the activations that have been going on. I'm not going to go into too much detail today, because I've written all of this, and also posted them on the community page on YouTube, the most important ones. So, and they always surface activations within themselves. So we bring them in, okay, and they automatically in quantum no time are being made available to other people also in the field, and more people pick up on them, which is what we do with all the work, okay? But also the people in the activations, you get a whole clearing and upgrading and fine-tuning of your systems. But basically, we all have now a golden egg around our field, which is really helping us heal any remaining distortions within our field. And that's happening at planetary level, because again, we are like, what I'm seeing is a core monad. And as we shift this, it goes out to all. Okay, and it's already in progress. It's already happening at higher level. It has already happened. It's just kind of all merging and unifying as one. I mean, that's also what I'm seeing, especially since the last 666 activation and 666 date. It's just this whole merging and unifying of all timelines and realities and our multidimensional selves, because it's all interconnected. And amazing rainbow rounds running through the grids, basically 12-dimensional frequencies running through the grids now, stabilized. The grids, the diamond grid is coming online. The magnetic core shift is happening. The pole shift is happening. It's happening within us, within our heart center. And this whole shift from sucking everything up and being fully heavy, it's full reconnection to God, source, backflow, return to source, to Andromeda. We are replenishing and rejuvenating. This is why we've been feeling so tired. And because you're literally transmuting from the inside, like in the cocoon of a butterfly. So in the inside, you're kind of mush, literally, and you're transforming from carbon to crystalline. So our atoms are spinning faster and faster. The proton, electron, and neutron composition are all shifting. And the death seal and the 666 seals have been released. And again, everybody's at a different stage, okay? So some of us have this already going. Other people are a little bit behind. It depends on each person's blueprint, where they're at, because this is, as we know from the healing, it's layer by layer by layer, okay? But yes, if you take part, for example, in my activations, it usually gets, quicker. And that's what it's there for. And also supposed to be easier, because I actually take a lot of that stuff. I transmit a lot on behalf of other people as well. That's why, that's what we do when we do these healings and activations. And ultimately, though, obviously, it's your higher self and it's God source in charge. I bring in the higher frequencies, but also together we can bring in a whole lot more frequencies than just me alone or you guys alone, but together and the right people together in the locations and into the grids, we've anchored so much frequency. And I think you can feel since the Friday activation, so since the last 666, wow, I mean, people are feeling pretty dizzy and nauseous and wobbly, me myself as well. Today was a little bit better. Wednesday, we really have been integrating, because each time we clear more, we hold a lot more frequency. And we've been clearing a lot of the AI, inorganic AI, also clones, and huge astral clearing. It's just clearing, clean, clean. And again, it depends on each person's template, but you help people heal by not demonizing anything anymore, but by seeing it for what it is, knowing it's basically everybody's clearing. It's a big old, exorcism, planetary going on, and you clear it by just shining your light. And you just need to now radiate it out if you're at that stage, okay? If you still need to cocoon, you need to cocoon, that's fine. And again, each time, moment, day is different, yeah? It's quantum. And each person feels different every day. Again, that's for us to keep the balance, all right? And this is not a competition. We all just have different pieces to it. But ultimately, we keep needing to go further and further until it's all resolved from within us. So the last battle we fight within our own mind. That's where you free yourself. It's all here in a way, or at least that's the receiving station. And we are now connected to cosmic source consciousness, and it's literally everything is being overwritten, the lower DNA codings, the AI, the reversals within the grids. It's all ready. And we're just waiting for the divine moment in now time, and the simulation goes off. That's all I can see. Massive DNA activations, powerful plasma light body activations, Merkaba activations. Our atoms are spinning faster and faster. We're vibrating higher and higher. This is also releasing a lot of any remaining densities. All the karmic contracts are going out. I mean, be proactive with it. This, do your own decrees, say it out loud, but obviously it's ultimately what we do and say in each moment and who we are being, okay, if we want to get out of these things. So learn your lessons, then we don't need to keep repeating them. Kind of as simple as that. And now with all of the interference patterns gone, and the interferences are basically all, I mean, it's getting really crystal clear. And there's going to be so much coming online now of our gifts and abilities, psychic sense, psychic abilities, extrasensory abilities. That's also why we feel a lot more sensitive right now and want to, still a lot of silence is very much recommended always, but especially now, to access what is real, to access the organic realities. It's all within you. It's not out there. Don't fall for the distractions of the Maya, of the hologram, of the false matrix. It's not on your laptop. It's, of course, we all like to read and watch inspirational or, positive or whatever it might be. You know what I mean? Positive programming. Let's put it that way. Not even programming, but material. because what we focus on is so important. What do we read? What do we look at? What do we think about? What do we talk about? So important, especially right now. It all creates ever more so. Okay. The more conscious you can be. And I've been really busy, really, with just focusing on, obviously dealing with my reality, but every other moment, really just overwriting and focusing on what I want to see in my reality. And I just know it's all coming true now. It's all aligning. It's literally just have to be now very patient, keep doing whatever you're shown in every now moment. But it is in a way waiting for, you know, the miracles to be shown to you, and you stay in a miracle. You don't let go. Perseverance and consistency is what makes this happen. Perseverance and consistency. That's why I usually show up every day in one way or another. It helps me, it helps other people, it holds a frequency, it holds a vibration, it holds the vision. Okay, you don't give up. Of course, we all have difficult days and we work through the crap, but at some point you just see it for what it is, and you know what it is, and you just don't, you know, give it too much attention. When you're clearing, but you don't hold on to it, or, you know, to the good stuff, and you don't resist the bad stuff, because that's the problem with the suppression, because people don't want to feel bad, but actually that's what just makes you feel consistently bad, because just you know, stuff you have to deal with is getting bigger and bigger, and you're getting more and more into a quagmire, and the harder it will get. So if you just constantly are self-reflecting and, you know, doing the inner work, it's much easier. And the less you can judge yourself and all others, that's the key right now. And the resistance and the triggers. Gratitude shifts everything. It's whatever needs to happen will happen. It's as simple as that. So say thank you, thank you, thank you, especially when it's difficult, and go deeper and deeper. And don't tell yourself whatever you're feeling and experiencing that you shouldn't be feeling that. Okay? So speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. Try to do it from a calm manner, because, you know, when you get out of balance, then, you know, you feed the other person, like you feed the vampires, the energetic vampires. Sometimes it's good, like if you can just do it in a very controlled kind of manner, bring it up and out. Sometimes, as I said before, we need to shout or scream. It depends on the moment, okay? You only know. And I'm not saying everybody should go around just screaming, not at all, because we obviously want to get to that point where that's not necessary anymore. But until then, if you feel it necessary, don't tell yourself you shouldn't have done that. Just keep coming back to center, keep coming back to peace, keep coming back to your heart, your own inner navigational system. Each moment is different, each situation, but speak your truth from as balanced a place as you can at all times. That's all you need to really be. Be your true, full, your most truest version, highest version of you. That's your alignment. Natural self. What do you want to say? You know, not what you should be saying, because these are all these spiritual programs telling you, no, this is not spiritual, being angry or being this and being that, or, you know, you need to always be just, you know, for example, if someone constantly would try and poke you, you know, are you supposed to just smile and just nicely tell them no? No, at the 10th time, you will say very firmly and sternly, but yes, you don't want to lose your own balance. You don't want to lose your composure. We do need to learn emotional and mental maturity, because we've graduated now. Okay, so these are the final tests where we don't fall for the crap anymore. We know it for what it is. Ultimately, it's part of an initiation, and until we become unfuckable with. And the same for the psyops or any Q movements that pop up. I don't think any political party or person as such is going to save us. Again, this is the hero's journey, where we are here to heal ourselves, which is what saves ourselves, which is where we become our own hero. So the hero's journey is us healing ourselves. Okay, no more savior complex. Ultimately, that's projection in a way, but we're also here to show the light. So it's both ends in a way, okay? But we don't get lost in that identity of us being here to save the world, okay? Ultimately here to save ourselves. That's what we're doing right now. We can show and help and assist in a balanced way from an overflowing cup, okay? When we're ready, when we have enough energy, when we're up for it. But we don't do it from a codependent place where we think like we need to constantly rush to people's attention when they need some support. No, they will get support at other places if you're in that moment not available and able to, okay? So you do need to look after yourself first. And a lot of us, that's part of the pole shift also right now, is those of us who've been constantly overgiving and, you know, it's more one-sided. We need to really shift the poles now. It's the same with masculine and feminine energies. If we've been too much now feminine or masculine, to shift this around. We are here to bring balance, as much balance to all things as possible. This is really us holding the 0 point field, and that's the Holy Trinity. That's how we embody that, the 0 point field in a new grid current. The unity consciousness is for us being in neutrality within the polarities and bringing everything to balance. Because it's all about balance and harmony, isn't it? So we are the balance between the extremes. Yeah. And it starts and always comes back to us. So we need to now stay super conscious. It's about us holding the higher frequency. And this is what brings up and holding the vision, holding the frequency consistently. We don't give up. We don't think, oh, no, it's not happening. It's always happening now. It's always happening now, and it's already happening. So if anybody's saying, oh, it's not happening now, and this is not it yet. I mean, first of all, again, this is a timeline war. Okay. Know it for what it is. Make up your own mind. That's the only thing I really want to transmit. Go within. It's within here. Ascension doesn't happen out there when somebody else is saying it does. It happens within you. It's your process. You're responsible for it. So go within in the silence. Best recommendation, connect with your heart, your soul, your higher self, all your higher identities, soul, oversoul, avatar, rishi, and pure source consciousness. Call it all within your whole multidimensional self. This is about your direct connection to source. That's your guidance system. That's how you will always know what you need to know when you need to know it. And be your true natural self, okay? And always just try your best. And again, this will look a little bit different every day. So cut yourself some slack, other people as well as we're going through this, okay? Reset in the consciousness, but we ultimately make it happen as we hold the field in all situations now, and don't fall for the distractions and tricks of the matrix and the illusions. All right? And we need sovereign, self-leading individuals in your earth, and that's who we need to be, okay? So we don't wait for anyone to tell us what to do or what's happening or not, okay? You need to know within yourselves what happens if there's no internet. This is all about us making also a telepathic connection. That's another reason for the remote activations that really strengthens the field. And I can feel, you know, those of us especially who are doing this with me for a while and to a kind of core group, I can really, you know, sense us in the field. And it's really beautiful. And that's how we're also always feeling connection with the people. And I much more prefer that because, again, the, you know, messages, especially Messenger on Facebook, I really don't like it. It's just not how I can spend my energy. And we need to be very responsible with the energy. And I might here and there pick up a message, and I hope so a little bit more in the future. But for a while now, I had to just totally say no to it. Because I cannot use my energy this way. I need to choose a way that I can do what I came here to do in the most effective way possible, to reach as many people as possible who are, you know, ready to hear what I have to transmit. And I'm being shown how to do this. And, you know, I should not feel bad about it. And it's one of the things I need to incorporate, to, you know, not react to people. And this has nothing to do, like, I love to connect, but it's just not the way I want to connect, or has been, you know, really positive. Because you might notice yourself, if you are someone who might be offering services or something, there's a certain energy connection that happens when you open up the messenger inbox, and an energy exchange happens. So these are all energy leaks. Okay, or that's what can happen. So we just need to see, you know, that these are balanced exchanges, or sometimes it might be okay, but constantly I can't have this running in my field at all. I mean, the whole energy work, as we all know, takes a lot out of me. And just the way I work is just what I need to take care of. And it looks very different to how somebody else works. But for me, a lot is working with the field, working with the energies. That comes first. Then I'm, you know, anchoring the activations and the new instruction sets. And once I have run them in my field, I then share them with you as navigational tips and instruction sets for the new consciousness of how we can more easily and quickly navigate through these waves and shifts within the consciousness and make these leaps so we don't get stuck and keep, you know, looping around and around and around. So that's what I'm here for. And that's how I can do that. I can't do that whilst I'm separately assisting. This is also why I haven't offered private sessions. It's just for the time being to get a job done since October last year. That's just what had to happen. And yeah, I'm looking forward to holidays, and I would love to, as I said before, I hope we all get to meet up at a big party and hook up properly. And I'm also telepathically always sending out messages. For example, over the last 2 days, there were a lot of messages I could have, you know, posted, but I just wasn't guided to. I sometimes also need to just pull back. That's my pole shift. And I really need to embody that. That's the most important thing. Not me being on Facebook and posting or making videos, me embodying this. That's the priority, always. And I'm always fine-tuning. Some days are better than others. So what I have to do, and I've been constantly having to do this because I do work and share a lot with everyone, and it's all on donation basis. So it's literally for free in a way. And, you know, I basically need to trust, as I always do, to be provided for enough to, you know, get us through this, but just to make what I'm here to do happen. And that's just what I've been shown how to do it. But it doesn't need to make sense to anyone else ultimately. But it does make enough sense to most of you people who are still listening, me rabbiting on here. But I know that everything I say serves a purpose, and there's also, again, a transmission beyond the words that is being transmitted. Keys and codes, and your whole energy field is getting a clearing and upgrading and activation just by listening to my voice and seeing me, and obviously also the information provided. But I know, for example, it actually puts a lot of people to sleep. My friend of mine says he often puts it on before sleep so he can fall asleep, because it's very high frequencies that I come on with also. So I'm always guided. We just actually have the Schumann resonance blasting again, I think on white, or at least almost fully white and a lot of green all the way through the graph. And whilst I'm recording this, because there's a certain frequency that is being transmitted as I come online, and I set it up that way. And there are keys and codes being transmitted for your ascension to help you make it easier and more gracefully. But again, we all need to do the work. And I know it's been very tough over the last week. And, you know, sometimes people also might, you know, think what I talk about is not really happening because they're having a hard time or whatever. What I'm saying is this is what's available in the field. In the activations, you are able to pick up on it more quickly and easily and more powerfully, but ultimately you still have to do the work, and each activation is different, just as each of our days are different, you know, and the energies are different. Obviously not everything is this also, because there's a lot going on in general. And each one of us has, you know, different things still to collect or to work on. And, you know, again, you know, one day I might be fine, another day, you know, I might be challenged with whatever's going on, and then, you know, another person is having a great day. We're all holding the balance, okay? And again, it's not a competition, and we're all just here to lead each other home to the heart. This is really our source center, okay? And this is our connection to source right now. So it's not even about connecting to source vertically, although this is also the case, but it's really right there inside your heart. Okay, and this is where this is also where your source energy is constantly being perpetuated from. Okay, and this all happens really also, you know, talking in more literal terms, done through us connecting to source and not needing, you know, a teacher or channeler or anything else, any material, or the magic crystal, whatever it is, in order to connect to that source energy. It's really built in. And this is what we need to reconnect to. And then we also reconnect to that source law. And it's not by us waiting for the government or some person to do it for us and to save us, or some aliens to come. We need to just delete all these savior programs, whether we want to be saved or whether we want to save someone else. This is a very individual experience where you become at one with the universe, with source, and that gets you out of the matrix. Now we're doing this collectively, okay? So we're holding the field here, but we keep holding the field and intensifying that knowing and keep radiating it out into the field of that this is not real, this is a simulation, and we're projecting all of this. And as we're projecting out a new consciousness, the reality shifts, because this has all been based on an inverted false consciousness, AI algorithms, that's the ego, okay? And it's all transcendent. And as we, the core monad, are doing this, the 144 and 144,000, the whole monkey effect is just going to shift it all in a blink of an eye through source. Ultimately, awakening is down to the divine. The same as I never planned my awakening. It just happened. And yes, and then we need to do the hard work. So this is what I see coming up collectively now, where we have a collective awakening moment happening, connected to the magnetic core as well. And the grids, the diamond grids, and this is really us, our diamond self coming online. So coming back to the reset, what kind of reset do you believe is upon us? Is it their reset? There. Or is it the one we are imagining? It's always what we are imagining, but which version are you imagining? If it would be up to you, which version are you focusing on now? The negative version? Because that's what all these psyops are for. It doesn't matter whether you're for or against it, you're still feeding it. So if you're feeding the negative version, whether you're for or against it, or in fear, whatever, or resistance, just check with yourself. That's why I'm also making the video, because it's really, this is now the final test. This is the final test. Curtain is coming down. Or what do you believe it is? Where are we going? Where are you going? Which timeline are you feeding? Are you going to feed a transhumanistic timeline that's going downhill with AI? Or are you feeding the one where basically right now we're about to switch on a new diamond grid, diamond avatar, and that is free energy, that's new earth realities, and you know, the whole money thing, that reset thing is basically not an issue. And that's why we have been transcending all these fears around money. I've been talking about this before. It's been in the field. We had to all transcend fears around money, whether that was an unexpected bill or whether it's your fear of how you're going to protect your money if the markets are going down. Transcend it. You can't take that shit with you, ultimately. I see it more as a point system, yes, a positive version of a point system going forward, but we'll see how it plans out. Ultimately, the one thing you only need to focus on is transcend your fear of not having enough money or losing your money. Because once you're connected to source, you know that you're always supported and always provided for. That's what you need to know, because again, this whole money fear, it's been inverted with black magic, and that's all been lifting and clearing, but you know, it's basically the enslavement money tool. Time is money, it's all connected. It's basically, you know, the matrix is based on the whole money enslavement program. So transcend the enslavement around money, detach from your attachment to money, just know you're always provided for and you always have enough. Okay? And sometimes that also really means, like, you know, and it's quantum. Sometimes I am guided to give or spend money when, you know, I might not have that much, or, you know, sometimes I might have, you know, it's really quantum, and you need to really transcend. You need to play with money as with energy. So if you feel sometimes, you know, tight with money, you might be pushed to give in order to transcend that fear. Okay, and the same with trying now to maybe save money. If it loses value, that's the whole thing. Okay, just anything could happen at any point. I learned in my life there is no real security. The only security you really have is your connection to source. Know you're always supported, and you will be. And I've really had to learn this many times over, and it was great training over the last few years. And that's the thing, we've trained well to now know what is really true, what is not. So whatever might come up now, what's happening, something big is really is already unfolding. Okay, the shift is here. It's happening now. We are dimensionally shifting. Simulation is going offline any moment now. That's what I'm seeing, at least. Again, go within yourself, see for yourself what you're accessing. It's also down to timeline access, but it's all merging right now. We're all merging this experience. And we'll see, though, how it will unfold. But our job is, as part of Ascension, is to transcend the fear. Transcend the fear of death. It's part of the illusion. I saw something beautiful today of a beautiful sister lost her son, young son, just very recently. And wow, I was just really touched by the way she dealt with it, in really not seeing it as, because it's not a death. Of course, we miss the people who are here. And I mean, I'm sure she is, processing many layers. But ultimately, death is the illusion. And we will see again the ones who have passed. Because that's the thing. I mean, we need to remind ourselves what we believe in and keep transcending any remaining programming of the matrix. And that's death is part of it, okay? To transcend that, and any fear, which is basically what keeps us in the matrix, which is very limited experience. It's like the just less than 1% that we can see of visible light, which is shifting now. It's how we have a view on reality. So again, keep expanding of what we really truly believe in. Keep seeing through the illusions, any triggers, anything that might be happening right now. I mean, these are also massive heart openings that are happening, which is at the core of the magnetic shift. And this magnetic core shift within the earth and our hearts is what all of this is about, as I'm seeing it, which just brings the neuron grids fully online. It's the unity grid, it's the heart grid fully coming online, us remembering ourselves as one with all, where you don't see other people as enemies anymore, or we're projecting no more of the monsters and demons and all of these evil things, but we just see it as unconsciousness, okay, in different levels of consciousness. Because if you wonder, sometimes people say, oh, I don't believe that we've came up with all of this. We have, unconsciously. That's the thing. It's been very inverted. We've really fallen asleep within a simulation, and then parts of the one have hijacked us in our dream in a way, and then it's been running on artificial algorithms and really keep just turning us in a circle like a hamster in a wheel. So no more wheel. It's all imagined. The boxes are imagined. Remember, keep remembering. That's how we're breaking through it. You need to remember yourself. You're the avatar in the game. Remember your role. Okay, take it seriously, but also play with it, because we're now really transcending all this martyrism, like martyrdom, and crucifixion implants also means them fully releasing now for us, for many of us. And in the grids, okay, again, everyone in their own divine timing, but this is now happening planetary wide because we are free now, okay? But this also means all this kind of the crucifixion consciousness behind it also needs to be transcended, okay? So don't let yourself be crucified anymore. Speak your truth, okay? Have fun now. And because also these chalice configurations, the Holy Grail configurations in our field, which is also the Holy Trinity, this is also really our now fountain of bliss and joy. So no matter what goes on in our world, okay, what anyone is doing or not doing, you and your happy bubble, okay, as we clear out the shit and all this heavy density and all this karmic load that we've been carrying for so long, okay, it's just all clearing, we now can have fun, okay? It's getting lighter and lighter, all these distortions and these incoherent thought forms and beliefs are all resolving themselves. As the one consciousness reconciles, comes to coherence and peace within. And believe me, this is happening at a much higher level. It already is done. And it's like a big awakening. And that's what's already happening. I think most of us can feel it. Again, what are you making out of the reset? What are you predicting now? What are the prophecies, the self-fulfilling prophecies you are writing now, because haven't most of them come true so far? You see, you need to see what has happened over the last 2 years, how we got here. It's the psychosis of the human consciousness really resolving itself, because it comes up as in very visible ways. Okay, and everybody's just remembering. We are starting to remember more and more, and that comes up. You will remember a lot of your past self now and your ancient wisdom and knowledge. Because it's these memories, it's the DNA coming powerfully online. This is also a lot of the aches within the body, especially the last 2 days. And we really received loads of DNA upgrades, especially over the last week. But then again, last 2 days, I could really feel it in my body. It's also, you know, the achiness. And this brings online our true memories, and also then the realities, because again, as we remember our true history, the true realities which we should be on, that weren't hijacked and inverted and, you know, distorted, that's what we then are projecting out, because it comes from a different data or film within our DNA. Okay, I've been seeing this today. The DNA is beautifully activating. It's all coming online, okay? And we're running the divine template of the 144 supermonics. So it's all 12 DNA strands and 24, 48, depending on what each has activated already or has in their template. But ultimately, we now fully transcended the death seals, okay? Eternal life, as I see it, we will have just a very conscious experience of when we, you know, we will not be aging, because we're youthing now as well. So that's happening as well. The youthing and regeneration that's happening. So we're youthing again with these death seals gone. But what it also means is that we will live a lot longer, but not eternally. So, you know, again, this has also its downsides, but you would then just very consciously decide what incarnation you want to take on next, not how it's been so far, where it's all total forgetfulness and mind wiping, where you keep making the same mistakes over and over again with little remembering, which doesn't help, okay? So basically, as this is all shifting within us, we're literally shifting also the way we are using energy. And again, this is very much connected to all the, you know, entities and demons and vampires that we've been feeding. Now, they only stop existing when you stop feeding them. And ultimately, there are negative thought forms that have become, you know, taken on a life of their own, like our consciousness field. But it's literally our unacknowledged shadow aspects of the collective. So as we clear this in our field, they ultimately clear as well. But yes, this also happens through us clearing it energetically. It happens in many different ways and layers, but it really boils back to consciousness and the thought forms, belief systems we have running, and the consciousness we embody. Because yes, they're connected to wounds and traumas and all of these things that are all healing again collectively, because it's a collective one consciousness, a one consciousness record, okay, history. And beyond humanity, truly. And really, as this is healing and clearing within us, really at the deep cellular level, this is also why a lot of the deep trauma had to come up now. So it's really deep inner child healing that happens. So we could see, where's our PTSD coming from? Where's our trauma coming from? Our anxiety, our, you know, depression, or why we react certain ways that we do. We just have to go deeper and deeper within. Many of us have been doing that to see, to follow back, and then either you're shown something in childhood or on other timelines, depending on your awareness. But usually you have it right in front of you, something that you can correct right there. Okay, what's amiss, because it's just becoming very obvious where we've been playing this victim-victimizer game and codependent and narcissistic role plays. And we all have these different aspects. It's not about putting anyone into boxes either, but we do tend to be either one or the other. And that's the whole pole shift, where we need to transcend these polarities within us. And, you know, if we've been more codependent, and really clear out all these behaviors and just don't allow them in your reality anymore. And that's how we create a change, because if we don't play the game anymore, the game stops. And that's how we make the change happen. Because as you shift, your reality has to shift in response. That's just how it goes. And as you keep shifting the way you look at your reality, it keeps shifting. So what are you seeing when you see the reset? What do you believe is happening? That's what decides the realities. We came here to write a script, and this is what this whole month has been about, okay? Us writing the script now, the old timekeepers are no more, the whole astral has been massively cleared. We're almost fully blitz clean clear, okay? I can feel massive shifts in my field, massive. We're basically done. All I need to do is relax, keep vision, keep the frequency, keep dealing with my reality, but I don't need to control anything. Because there's just so many things, I'm able to do. I spoke about this before, and many of us have certain situations where we are, asked to just be patient, and we know everything is coming together. We might not know how or exactly when, but we know it's happening now, and that's what we align with. And we keep aligning with that, and we just transcend any remaining doubts and fears and worries and insecurities, because that's also what we've been doing, okay, with all this bad programming, all this AI crap. Gone, okay? And now we keep aligning with the cosmic consciousness, just let go, because it's literally beyond mind. It's not your little monkey mind trying to figure it out, but you use it as a tool. You use mindfulness as a tool. You use your mind to not go for the tricks and the traps anymore, and to focus your mind on what you want to experience and not that what you don't want to experience. Okay, so it certainly plays a role. So it can be your worst enemy, or it can be your greatest tool. And that's the mental maturity of how you use your focus and attention. That's your currency, your life force. It's also the love and the joy and the bliss. That's our new currency. Focus on that, okay? Transcend the whole money thing. Focus on joy and bliss. Really, do this right now, because that's what's gonna manifest the realities for you, where you constantly can be in that state, net frequency, and not in the old realities where everything was upside down, where we have to basically sacrifice our joy and our bliss in order to just keep a roof over our head, so to say. Okay, everything is shifting, all new rules, a whole blank new canvas. No, it's already done. This is the reset. Okay, the abundance comes from within. There's a huge abundance piece now being activated. But what are you seeing? What is happening in the field? What are you predicting? Okay, not exactly how and what is going to happen, but overall, what do you think this reset is about? It's a consciousness reset, and as soon as you radiate out and operate from unity consciousness, where the whole universe is you, that's when everything conspires in your favor. Not when we are in a conspiracy mindset where everything is a threat and we're paranoid. We need to transcend the paranoia. That is what got us here. Not that we're not discerning, but you need to just stop projecting demons and evil people. Okay, just see them for what they are. They're hurt people. Yes, they need to be made responsible and accountable, but not from a place of, crucifying and, wanting to murder people. Because again, these are just other aspects of you. Because the thing is, when we don't stop hating something, we will become the very thing we hate. It really does work that way. Because it's something that consumes you, and it's something that you are actually projecting at your own self in a way, at another aspect of you, but you're the one feeling it. I mean, the other person as well, but it's, for example, if somebody would have, if your child was murdered, and you would know the person who's murdered your child. And I think most of us could understand, or my old me would understand, I still understand, that you would have feelings of wanting to kill the person that has killed your child. Okay, but ultimately, doesn't it make you the same thing that you hate? You killed someone else's child. It makes you the same if you step down to that level. And that's what we're trying to understand here, is where we rise above, and we are the bigger person, and we choose the higher road. And we are the change we came here for, and we are the embodiment of that what we come here for. And it's not done through war and battle and fighting things. Yes, we stand up in our truth. And there might be situations, you know, where something comes up and you do need to defend yourself in a physical or literal way. But you get me, ultimately, this is all a co-creation from your consciousness. Why would something even come up like this in your reality? Again, it's a simulation. It's an energy we hold. These are ultimately all timelines, realities we hold in our DNA. So whatever's happening in your reality, it's co-created, it's a co-created script, and it's down to you right now to change it. So what are you projecting onto the screen? What are you writing in every moment for a new movie? Because the new movie is about to start and we are right now writing the scripts. Okay, but they're about to go into production and it's going to be shot. So what are we writing? What are we seeing happening? Is it more of the old stuff? Or is it all new? That's what I'm seeing. So connect in the silence to your higher self, your instruction sets, what you're here to bring. There's a whole new level of service and instruction sets coming online, and next steps, manuals. That's what I'm getting. Again, I'm being asked, we need to just spend time really connecting with that within, because that's where you access it. Okay, it's all inside of you. All the instruction sets, very specific and unique to each person. Just take it easy, allow it to happen through you, the sacred transformation, because we're literally rebirthing our diamond avatar self in the new diamond grid, in the new realities. And any moment now, you'll see it. Okay, and stay in the miracle, stay in the frequency, keep holding the vision. Okay, you just don't let go. You don't give up. Doesn't matter what happens, because holding the frequency doesn't mean just all the time, yeah, you need a high frequency. No. It means like no matter what happens, you know, it's just clearing. That's just part of it. That's what it means. Okay, whilst you're going through whatever you're going through and you feel whatever you're feeling, because the one thing we don't want to do is suppress anything. Not possible anymore anyway. And the cognitive dissonance fully disappearing. So just look at it, laugh at it, whilst you also take it seriously. And then, you know, ultimately the changed behavior is what makes a change. But first of all, you have to fully accept yourself and everyone else as it is. You can't change anything that you're still judging or resisting. That's why it will keep coming up until you do. And you will keep projecting it onto other people until you really see it's actually you're judging and projecting upon. Okay, and it's always obviously easier to see in other people than within ourselves. That's why it's so important that whenever we give advice to someone else, also take it in yourself, just as I do with my own advice. I do really use my own advice and I go deeper and deeper. And I always keep fine-tuning and improving further. And I'm not perfect and I get things wrong. But it's so much now about just fully accepting ourselves as we are and fully loving ourselves as we are. That's the abundance that now fully ignites the abundance. Okay, it's all projected from within. The oneness right now becoming available. I mean, I really feel I'm becoming one with the elements, which we are. It's matter. It's been re-encrypted. You are one with the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom. You are one with everything, everyone around you, even the ones that really annoy you. Whilst you still have, you know, you understand your individual incarnational self, you know, your true self. That's the whole thing. We're just getting rid of our false self. There's nothing to lose at all, besides your old false self and false reality. So nothing to hold on to, nothing to be afraid of. Open up wide, surrender to source. It's the only way. Full surrender to source, yourself and your whole reality. And just know you are carried, know you're always supported. That's when the really good stuff comes in. And I know we've waited a long time, we've been infinitely patient, but this is when this really pays off now, okay? Bounteousness, super abundance, but also redefine abundance, what it really means. It is not material things or in money. It's ultimately the bliss, the joy, the love, the people we have in our lives, how we spend our time, how much we can, you know, be in those higher states of consciousness. That's what we've trained for, to now embody this, anchor this on behalf of all. Everybody played a role So that's how we transcend the final victim victimizer game. Just see everybody's just playing a role ultimately. Because if we can't get over this, you might be playing the role of the other person next time around, or you are already finding yourself that you turned into the very thing that you hated all along. Because I've seen it. It does happen, really. You know, if you can't transcend the hate and the resentment and judgment we have towards other people or behaviors, you will find yourself embodying that. That's just how these karmic wheels work. And that is all being cleared now fully, but that's why this comes up. So it's now basically the finale of, you know, how the movie ends. And the resolution of everybody learning the lessons. So just hold everyone in the highest light, but you also don't take any BS. Very important, okay? Because what does being divine love really mean? It doesn't mean just being, you know, it definitely doesn't mean people walking all over you. It doesn't mean just being lovey-dovey all the time. Yes, it means being our loving self. But we only can also do this when we really feel safe in our own body. We feel safe with the people around us, you know. And it really means speaking up for ourselves. It means really acknowledging our own feelings and our wishes and needs. And we need to tend to them, even if other people don't do that. That's what self-love means. Speaking up for ourselves, having boundaries, protecting us, not protecting, but you know, it's like it's your field, and you know, it's protecting us from, you know, this is kind of my place and I keep it nice and clean, so to say. And if you bring in your dirty shoes, sorry, but you have to leave them outside or you're not invited, kind of thing. Okay, it's like you're maintaining a sovereign energetic field, but we do this energetically most of all. Okay, and I really feel what's coming in now is then, as we feel safe in our body again, because also all these wounds are healing, all of these distortions are clearing, all of this crap on so many levels. And it's also then our multidimensional self, because as I said, it's a whole collective exorcism as well as soul integration, walk in really happening. And then this also relates to higher DNA strands activating, which brings all of the gifts, abilities, memories, and new realities online. What was I saying? Bring new realities online, our DNA activating. Yeah, basically, that's where we're at. Now, actually, that's the first time I think I lost the thought there. Now, mind wipe completes, Jesus. The mind wipe completes. So the old Akash, it's all clearing, the old programming, the old false matrix, all program. It's all based on programming, let it go, which are belief systems, thought forms, okay? And with it, the simulation goes offline. So just be super conscious, but you're thinking, keep transcending any negative thought forms, because that's ultimately what these entities and vampires and all this crap is all about. Purity of mind, purity of heart gives you purity, pure realities. And again, this doesn't mean we, you know, sugarcoat things that are not there, but we also see beyond all false masks and people's, you know, demons, you know, being exorcised by just shining a light with love, knowing it for what it is. You know, if you don't have your ego in the way, you're not going to even get offended. You're going to still say, hey, this is bullshit, but you're not going to be, how can you? You know, there's a difference. The same with all this like discernment and judgment. There are differences in energies, okay, where we can say, you know, it's a both end, where you like come from a place of love, but also like, hey, this is bullshit. Because we need to be able to say to this. We need to be able to speak up. That's the big thing of us reclaiming our throat chakra, which is happening a lot, and bringing everything, you know, in alignment by speaking our truth in a balanced way, okay? Where we don't either not say anything or go, bah! Again, these, you know, polarities, these extremes, we're trying to find balance. And that's what comes last now, where we're totally able to stand in our truth. We're the super empath, okay, which is basically healing also all the narcissistic archetypes out there by us shifting, because then they can't play the games anymore. And again, as we shift through the codes and keys we carry through the 100 monkey effect, it's already done. That's why we need to just keep going deeper and deeper within to resolve these last incoherent thought forms that create conflict and incoherent realities, and bring them to union, bring them to alignment. And as everything is aligned, that's clarity, isn't it? When you don't have any more, wondering whether you were right or another person were right, or what's right here or this is wrong, where you just, yeah, you have clarity, That's where we're at now. All these interference patterns are lifting, all the interference. I hope you can feel it, the shift in your own field. Okay, if not yet, just know that it's there. That's why I share the messages I do. It's because it becomes available, but we still need to all do our own work. It's just, that's the sovereignty piece, okay? It's not been done for you. Nobody's going to come with a magic wand. We're doing it all together as one. And that's also where you need to understand when, even other people trigger you, just try to see yourself in them and all part of you, or an unacknowledged part of you and the one, because otherwise you just still have to transcend and integrate that piece, okay? Because this is like, we all have different parts, and this is not about anyone being better than another. That's what we totally need to get rid of. It's all about equality, and it's getting rid of hierarchies and all of that, and really coming to a synarchy where everybody just knows they have a role to play. Everybody knows their true self. And that's the whole thing. When we stop wanting to be anyone else or fitting in, or wanting to be liked, we just do what we love from a passion. It's fully aligned with who we truly are, and then we can find other people that we also align with. That's how we find our soul tribe. Really, the right people will gravitate to you when you're your true self and they're their true self. That's what's going to happen now, and that's when we're going to create really fun things. Okay, I feel it's all very much up in the open. I'm just right now, again, being guided into the silence to retrieve the next instruction sets of what's happening. But it's very much unraveling from moment to moment. But it's really, for me, looking after myself. That's my inner pole shift more and more. So I've been doing this, really training myself to do this more and more, because I do tend to burn out and do too much in a way, trying too hard. So I need to fully, first of all, this is done, and this is a dream also, okay? So I'm imagining this and I'm dreaming all of this, and ultimately it's just about me waking up. I wouldn't even need to make these videos, but I also do, because I'm also speaking of other parts of myself listening to this, okay? So it's all of these things at the same time. So it's not just sitting there and pretending nothing is real. Okay, this is not what this is. It's what we make it. We are projecting it. So reality is what you make it. What are you projecting? What kind of reset is this going to be? Whatever you're perceiving, be very choosy with what you are watching and reading and what you're paying attention to, where you're putting your focus to. That is your currency. Okay, create new. That's what I would suggest. Keep focusing on all the realities you want to see. Okay, organic ascension realities, nothing fallen. Just withdraw your life support. They need our life support. They need our focus and attention to keep them running. They need you to believe that they have the power to put in some crazy reset. Okay, and again, something might play out that they might try this just to show people what's happening. I don't know. All right, let's see how this all plans out. But ultimately, we are co-creating this. All I know is we're in charge of the timelines now, and nothing is going to go how some of the worst predictions have been made over the last 2 years have been. That's what I see. Now, again, it's a co-creation. All right. I'm just more like a energy translator of the information I'm collecting, and it's not me making it up and telling you what to think. It's more of I'm tapping into the collective consciousness and figuring out what's going on with us. What are we up to? So right now, this is the final test, if anything, rather than a final battle of you want to keep fighting battles and keep running those movies where there's even a victim victimizer, or you're just done with this now. Because you need to be done with it to move to the new Earth grid system, new diamond grid, new unity grid. There is no war going on. it doesn't agree with the consciousness. Okay, it's not that you don't know what a war is. You will understand what has just happened, but we are going back to the future, which we should be on, where there's never been a war and an invasion, like as if it never happened. But we do remember that it did happen, but it will be like a dream, literally. And that's the only way, when you understand that this is ultimately not real, this is a dream, we are about to awaken from it, the simulation is about to go offline because we've been hijacked in a dream, or rather we fell asleep and then got hijacked. And ultimately it comes back to those distortions within the consciousness that we're all clearing right now and correcting. And quantum style, this triggers the new realities which we should be on, that are in alignment with that cosmic consciousness that we're now fully aligned with through our return to, energetically with our energy field, clearing all of this out, and also our cosmic seed atom, our high heart, and also the consciousness. It's many things together. And again, it's also happening at a planetary level. So just keep seeing past any attempts to try and hijack your consciousness and diverting it and feeding it into any foreign timelines, because at an energetic level, they are fully collapsed. Again, it all comes up and out as all of this stuff clears. Yeah, everything I write about when I say this is clear and it's collapsing, it comes up and out. I said this before, as with everything else. When we know something is clearing, it has to come up and out. That's the only way. Hence, suppression is the problem. So let it come up and out. Know it for what it is. That shifts your perception. So again, where one person sees there's more of this and it's going to get worse and worse, all I see is this is clearing. I have a totally different perception of reality than a lot of people because of my way of perceiving things. But the thing is, the old way we have been perceiving things and believing things and, all the thought forms running, this is what gives you the old realities. So you have to totally see things in a different way. That's the quantum observer effect. As you shift the way you look at things, the things you look at change. As we shift our perception, and it's the higher consciousness now coming online, where you just, the way we heal is not by seeing, for example, if you break up with someone, you have a broken heart, that kind of thing. If you keep thinking that person is an asshole and you're the victim and it's been terrible and this is just the end of it and you're never gonna love anyone ever again, if you keep that consciousness, yeah, you're not healing for all that time. But then if you eventually shift and understand that maybe it wasn't the best person, maybe the relationship wasn't that great anyway, or there's a better match for you out there, or that was just a karmic contract or a life lesson to learn. It's a total shift. You don't make them responsible. They're not the victimizer anymore, and you're not the victim anymore. You see, you shifted. It was just an experience, and it was a co-creation for both of you to learn the lessons you came here for. Shifts everything. All right. So all co-creation, get rid of the victim and victimizer games, all this distorted polarity, unless you want to keep playing out these old timelines that are literally dust now. Just like all the artificial matrix energies in various forms and implants and attachments and all that crap in AI is fully being cleared from our fields. And we're now ready to rebirth our diamond avatar, new diamond grid, rainbow plasma light body. And that's what, when we don't need oil anymore, we don't need money anymore, and we don't need food anymore, ultimately, or that's where we're going, because we are literally then, when we run a 0 point field, that's free source energy. Because what are we trying to do here? Aren't we trying to bring the grid online and have free energy and abundance for all? We do know there is enough for everyone. And I do believe all of these things like food, plants, burning and so forth, again, there's just a big shift in all of this happening. So the old system again needs to go down for the new then to arise, which we will be needing much less food in the future. You wouldn't need food at all, because again, we are run by light, by source light. But I see it will be a balance of all of these things. So what I'm seeing is you can have food, but you don't ultimately need it, because again, our whole biology is changing, and we're reconnecting to source light. And that's also, perpetual, eternal energy flow, where you don't run out with 80, 100 years of energy, okay? But you keep a young body, and then at one point you just decide to have another incarnation instead of the old version of death and illness and disease. So that's what we've been all clearing. But with that, you then also need to clear the consciousness, because again, any illness, disease also is really going back to these distortions within the consciousness and conflicts that are unresolved, and then that end up in energetic blocks, and as well from other lifetimes that may cause a bleed through, and issues, karmic issues and so forth. So we need to transcend the consciousness, and we need to transcend it especially from the good versus evil, right versus wrong. So you just need to transcend the whole battle, the whole spiritual battle. Ultimately, it's a battle within our own mind. This is your essential vehicle. This is all you need. It's all within. That's where you transcend the Maya, the illusions of the matrix, and remember yourself as you are sovereign, you are free, and you are God's source. It's a remembrance, ultimately. Reclamation, remembrance. But you are always that ascended master self. It's always available in the quantum space. So parts of you is always ascended, part of you is always with source, okay? So it's a shift in consciousness. And yes, this also transpires over linear time. But again, we need to, very important, transcend linear time. So important. Part of the matrix. Time, also to do with the money matrix and all those enslavement bindings. But really time and space and gravity are one of the three things we're totally transcending as lower 3D constructs. Okay, so go timeless, go limitless. With the core shift and the pole shift, the gravitational field of Earth, it's already shifting. Okay, science is also picking up on, I think, 30% of the magnetosphere is already down. And depending on the day, more so. There's huge shifts happening. Just don't go by all physics, what you think needs to be or doesn't need to be. Again, there's a plasma buffer shield that is taking over. It's a natural magnetic, organic, organic magnetosphere. But there's also another word I was looking for. I can't quite get it together. But it's all organic magnetism. That's it. That we're shifting back to, okay? And that also happens for us, not needing to make things so much happen in our outer environment, but it's literally us magnetizing all we need, as we no longer see ourselves separate from our reality or anything around us. We are all these things. We are the elementals, we are everything and everyone around us. And it's when everything conspires to you, conspires in your favor, and everything will come to us. Doors are opening now with all the interference and all the black magic and all of this crap just going, gone. And any moment now, it's just totally gone. Okay, because it's literally already happening, and it's just, we keep working, keep doing this, and in divine timing, it's going to be very visible. So I'm very much looking forward to that. July is also my birth month. I always big activations for our solar returns. So it's going to be sweet. The last and the first day of every month, even though we don't do linear, but they're always the most, it's kind of the end of the energy of one month and then the beginning of the next. They're always very intense. So just keep focusing, see the bigger picture. Remember your oneness with all. Everything is conspiring for you. Write these new self-fulfilling prophecies that are not based on the paranoia and division and them versus us, whilst you still see everybody playing out, their roles, but you're just the avatar in the game, and you just know you're here to write a whole new script, okay? And you're holding the field, all right? So no matter what happens, you will always know what you need to know. Just being your true self, keep aligning with that, your unique expression, not what any programming or any person has ever told you. You need to figure that out for yourself, what that means, okay? And I think, I didn't look at my notes at all, but I think I've spoken enough. for today. Not that I know how much I've spoken, but just, yeah, I mean, as always, you know, with all the wobbliness, or when you can get really intense with the energies and, you know, shifting dimensionally, grounding as before is not really necessary as such anymore. Just ground into your high heart, ultimately, your cosmic seed atom, your high heart, your thymus, but also into the crystalline core, of course. It's always beautiful with your heart. Just imagine like a beam of light going into the crystalline core, and then if you want, back up to source on a pillar of light. But obviously, it's always nice with the magnetic shifts that are going on that can make us also very wobbly, connecting to nature. Yeah, earthing and or being in the sea and salt baths, all of these things. Geez, my throat is now totally going for a reset. So, as I said, all the details are really talked. I mentioned some of them here, but it's really all the old template, the whole reset. I mean, it's done. It's completing now. It's a blueprint reset. It's a consciousness reset. It's really the same. The morphogenetic field, which is your blueprint, is also the consciousness, okay, that then is sound and light, and then geometric patterns or platonic solids that then organize themselves into matter. So it's all been re-encrypted, and we can feel this in our own field. We can feel this in our own consciousness as that shift. So trust it. It's happening now. Again, it's what you make it. Ultimately, it's up to you. What you make out of it, what you read into the realities, but your shift in perception makes all the difference, because it literally shifts your reality. So it's up to you if you want to see a conspiracy or all conspiring for you. And depending on if you see it as a benevolent universe or a one that you should be, you know, kind of afraid of everything, basically makes all the difference in the kind of reality you're experiencing. So check on this when you're reading material or any kind of, you know, information of what's kind of being produced there in your mind, what kind of programs, okay? And just be very discerning. As always, take what resonates, leave the rest, as with everything. And I hope this has helped you. If you'd like to support me, I very much appreciate donations while we still have to handle money. I know we've been all feeling the pinch, but if you do find it supportive, I do appreciate the support back. If you can make a donation, thank you so much. Also for the ones who have been sending them, and for the ones, again, part of the activations. I hope you can feel the difference it has made for you, even though, you know, it's not been easy with or without them. And thank you so much for your work, for being here now, for not giving up. Keep holding the vision, keep holding the frequency, consistency, perseverance, and what's winning the game right now. Not giving up. You keep holding it there, patient. You can see it's all growing, and we're about to have a beautiful harvest here. Okay, it's all coming together. Keep staying in the miracles, be the miracle. And yeah, this is it, really. So thank you so much love. Hope you're doing well. Keep riding the waves, keep flowing. Let go of any resistance, any judgment. Just keep letting it flow through you, okay? Don't attach to it, don't identify with it. Observe it, as well as feeling it all. And just know everything is more than well, okay? But ultimately, again, just connect to your heart and to source, and that's all you need to know. All right, love you, goodbye, take care.